श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी। बरनौ रघुबर बिमल जसु जो दायक फल चारि। बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार। बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार। जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर। जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा। अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी। कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन विराज सुबेसा। कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ ब्रज ध्वजा विराजे। कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन। तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन।
सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय। उमापति महादेव की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। प्यारे भाई और बहनों, my dear brothers and sisters, let us clasp our hands and bow our heads in humble supplication as we seek guidance, blessings and protection from the supreme consciousness that permeates the entire cosmos. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. शुक्लांबरधरं देवं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्ते। ॐ सरस्वती नमोस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी। विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। ॐ अनेकजन्म सम्प्राप्त सर्वकर्म विदाहिनी। आत्मा ज्ञान प्रदानिन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः। ॐ जयन्ति मंगला काली भद्रकाली भद्रकाली कपालिनी दुर्गा क्षमा शिवा धात्री स्वाहा स्वधा नमोस्तुते। ओम मध्यंतरहते देवी आद्यशक्ति महेश्वरी योगे योग संभुते महालक्ष्मी नमोस्तुते। ओम कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। ओम रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पदये नमः। ओम त्र्यंबकं यजामहे सुगंधिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमेव वन्दनाम् मृत्योर्मुक्षे यमामृतात्। ओम मंगलमूर्ति मारुतनंदन सकल अमंगल मूल निकंदन पवनतनय संतन हितकारी हृदय विराजदवद बिहारी। मातु पिता गुरु गणपति श्रद्धा शिव समित शंभो सुकनरध चरण कमल बंदो सब काहू देहो राम पर निहो निबाहु। जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। बंदन राम लखन वेदही ये तुलसी की परम स्नेही। सियापति रामचंद्र जी की जय शरण उमापति महादेव की जय शरण वृंदावन कृष्ण चंद्र की जय शरणम। ओम नमो माता पिता मनो श्री गुरु चरण कमलेभ्यो नमः। ओम नमो परमात्मने नमः। प्यारे भाई और बहनों, my dear brothers and sisters, Swagatam, a warm and cordial welcome to each and every one of noble souls present here with us this evening. Truly a blessing to be in your pious company. Bhagwan's continued blessings to each and every one. Brothers and sisters, this evening our program would include some sentiments expressed by loved ones. It would include some bhajans. It would include a brief katha. Bhagwan Shri Ram was speaking to the assembly of saints and sages and the citizens of Ayodhya after he had been crowned king of Ayodhya, and he is saying to them, और एक कुपुट मत सबही कहू कर जोरी शंकर भजन बिना नर भक्ति न पावई मोरी. He's telling each and every one of us, without adoring that supreme Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu, Shiva Shankar, one cannot attain devotion to me, Bhagwan Sri Ram is saying. Mahabir Swami Hanuman is the 11th Rudra and Ans of Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu. Mahabir Swami, one of his many qualities is that he brings the devotees of Bhagwan, to Sri Ram. For one to come close to Bhagwan Sri Ram, it is only Mahabir Swami, Hanuman can bring you there. Goswami Tulsidas used to offer his oblations and so on. And the water that remained, he used to go and offer it to the root of a tree. And offering that on a few occasions at that tree, there's a preta, a ghost, who was always thirsty, used to be there at the root of that tree. And that preta, being satisfied with that water that was being involuntarily offered, was pleased, and he asked Goswami Tulsidas to ask for a boon. Goswami Tulsidas told him that he wanted to see Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman. So that preta told him that he doesn't have that power to do that. However, he would be able to direct him to Mahabir Swami Hanuman, and Hanuman would be able to bring him closer to Bhagwan. So he directed him where to go, where the Sri Ram Charitramanas is being chanted, and there he would see a person in old tattered clothes would come there first, and he would listen to the glories of that Supreme in that satsang, and he would be the last to leave. And if you catch hold of that person is Mahabir Swami Hanuman, and he would be able to help you in your endeavor to see the Supreme Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman. So Tulsidas Maharaj goes to that yajna, and he notices this feeble person comes in an old tattered clothes there, and he's listened to that katha of Bhagwan Sri Rama, and he's the last to leave. He follows that person, and eventually he grabs hold of his feet. And the person is asking, why is he holding on to his feet? So Goswami Tulsidas tells him that he knows that he is Mahabir Swami Hanuman, and he's not going to let go until he gives him that wish. So Mahabir Swami takes his original form, and he tells him, Goswami Tulsidas, where to go, and he would see Sri Ram and Lakshman. So he goes there, and he sees two princes riding on horses, Ram and Lakshman riding on the horses, but Goswami Tulsidas didn't recognize them. He looks at them, and then he looks at the ground. So Mahabir Swami comes after and asks him, did you see Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lakshman, the two princes on the horse? So Tulsidas becomes despondent and tells him he didn't recognize them. He wanted another chance to do so. So Mahabir Swami tells him to go to Chitrakut Ghat, and there he would put tilak for Bhagwan Sri Ram. He would come there. So Bhagwan Sri Ram takes the form of a young boy, And he comes there, and Goswami Tulsidas is Ghise the sandalwood. So he didn't recognize Bhagwan, but Mahabir Swami indicated to him that that is Bhagwan Sri Ram. So when he looks on the countenance of that Supreme Lord and Master, he's lost. And Bhagwan Sri Ram himself has to take the tilak and put for Goswami Tulsidas and himself. This is the greatness of Mahabir Swami, that he brings you closer to the Supreme. Goswami Tulsidas tells us, Ram Naam Manidhi Padharu Jiha De Haridwar Tulsi Bhitar Bahirahu Jo Chahasyu Jyar. Install the luminous gem of the name of that Supreme Lord and Master at the tip of the tongue, if you would have light both inside and out, O Tulsidas. We are given that opportunity to chant the praises of that Supreme Lord and Master. Brothers and sisters, let us all join together in singing the praise of Bhagwan. Shri Ganesha Bhagwan ki Jai.
Parvati Nandana Gajanana Pashupati Nandana Niranjana Pashupati Nandana Niranjana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Pahi Prabhu Mam Pahi Prasanna Pahi Prabhu Mam Pahi Prasanna Girijanandana Shubhanana Girijanandana Shubhanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Pahi Prabhu Mam Pahi Prasanna Girijanandana Shubhanana Girijanandana Shubhanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Pahi Prabhu Mam Pahi Prasanna Pahi Prabhu Mam Pahi Prasanna Girijanandana Shubhanana Girijanandana Shubhanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Parvati Nandana Gajanana Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam. Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura, Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam, Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram, Sitaram Jai Radhe Shyam. Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura, Anjaniya Veera Hanumant Shura, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera, Vayu Kumara Vanar Veera.
उमापति महादेव की जय, सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय. Brothers and sisters, our katha this evening on Mahabir Swami, I would like for us to pay close attention to some of the qualities of Mahabir Swami, and some of these qualities are emulated by most of our loved ones in our lives, more so by our brothers Narine Siew and Mitra Maharaj. Brothers and sisters, let us hear from some of the loved ones of these two distinguished souls. Let us first start with some of the sentiments expressed by the loved ones of our brother Narine Siew. Shri Ganesha Bhagwan ki Jai.
I'm Narine Siew, just giving a little insight into the life of Narine Siew. Narine Siew, he was born to Siew and Gangadei Ramdar. He was the only son. He had 6 sisters. We met in 1976. I was started working at the Industrial and Commercial Salvatory building. Before I went to work there, my dad would tell me that when I go to work, the first boy I meet, the first boy I get married to. And I used to call him and say, Daddy, I'm not going to look for any boyfriend. I don't want any boyfriends. He used to say, okay, I will see. But what made me notice him was his height, because at that time, all the boys coming around to check out the new girl. And every day he would come and stand up by the door and watch until he finally built up the courage to come and talk to me. Fast forward 2 years after, we got engaged. 1 year after, we got married. We had 3 beautiful children. They did very well. He was extremely proud of them, even though he was a person of few words. And he was a very helpful person, helpful to everybody. Everybody would tell you how Mamu used to do for them. If Mamu couldn't help them, he would find somebody who knows somebody to help them. But his pride and joy were his 2 grandchildren, Amir and Aryan. He was overly proud of them, especially Amir. When Amir could walk around, and he would get up every morning and make a roti. And the morning he get up late, Amir would go and tug at his pants And he would say, okay, Grandpa, get up a little late. There wasn't anything that Amir wanted that he wouldn't do for her. She was his life. She was the light of his life. Aryan, we used to go every 2 weeks and look for him, but Amir stole his heart. Every time he go out anywhere, he would buy some, make sure he bring home something for Amir. Unfortunately, he passed away. Just as how he lived his life. He used to say he never wanted to go in hospital, he never wanted to see the doctor, even though he knew he wasn't feeling well. He passed away. He was supposed to go to the doctor. He had his bath, changed his clothes, had a heart attack, lie down on his bed, and that was it. Just as how he was helpful to everybody when he was alive. That is how his funeral was. Everybody pulled together and give him what he wanted, all his rights. Even though they don't cremate on a Sunday. His cousins and them had contacts, and he was the only person to cremate on that day. So just a short insight into the life of Narine Siew at Sitaraam.
It's also a little bit odd talking about someone after they passed, but I think the greatest thing Dad did for me in a way that impacted my life was showing me how he worked. Dad was a tax officer, and he helped a lot of people with their finances and their, their little profit and loss at the end of the year. And he used to have me type those up on the computer when I was a kid, and that experience shaped my entire career. It was the ability to notice the little discrepancies in numbers, and won't get too much into what I do, but that little experience, being a teenager, that was like our closest connection of working together. And without that, I wouldn't have the career that I have. I wouldn't have had the experiences with how I work with people. And without that, I wouldn't have the life that I have now. There are always things that I wish that we could have done more, even done better. But that's unfortunately not something we can change. So I would just say that, for Dad, I appreciate those things that he shared because it made me the person that I am now. And the things that I wished he did more of, it still inspires me to try to do those things with the people around me as well. And so that's the way I would say that impacted my life.
Sitaraam, I'm here to talk about our brother Narine, who passed away last year. Narine was the fourth child, being born in the middle of 3 older sisters and 3 younger sisters. In that way, he was spoiled by both our parents, being the only son, and spoiled by his sisters. We all grew up having a lot of fun in El Dorado. And we had, given the limited resources of our family, we had some great times. I don't know if children now enjoy life as we used to enjoy it, but we all grew up very close as a very close-knit family. And Narine, being in the middle of all the girls, used to have a ball of a time, enjoying himself also with the 3 older sisters and the 3 younger sisters, being bossed around by the 3 older sisters and bossing around the 3 younger sisters, and also bossing around the 3 elder sisters, because he was the king in the family, considered a king by our mother and father. We all grew up in a very religious family, strict religious family. Our father, being the strong religious person, he made no jokes about us following our Hindu traditions and values. So we grew up as a very strict family, and I think everybody all carried that into the family that they joined after. So we all were very religious. I'm sure all the children will say that their parents were very strict when it came to their religious practices and beliefs. We were strict Hindus. Diwali and Shivatri, our father especially used to take us to the temple, and on Diwali day we all had to go to the puja room and say our prayers together. So being brought up in that strict religious traditions, we still practice our religion in a very strong way now. Narine, being the person he was a very helpful and charitable person. He was also very sharing. If you had anything that needed to be done, especially during your prayer session, he would come. He loved to cook. He would make his favorite parsad, and he was very jovial. When we were liming, he would always ensure that we all had something to drink, and always if he had to cook something, he would show us what he cooked and boast about his cooking. Even though he retired 9 years ago as a senior public servant, he still had links with his co-workers, and a lot of them had very positive things to say about him, but not just positive things, but they spoke about him with great love and affection, because he lived as a very caring supervisor also. As in the office, even now people call us and said he was a very, very, very nice supervisor. What can I say? Narine will be greatly missed by his sisters, of course, but by the second generation. He was the favorite niece. He was the favorite uncle to all the nieces and nephews. The second generation, he was the favorite. So they all will miss him, but one day we all have to travel that path that he traveled, crossing over to the other side with our sister Basanti. One conversation I had with Nara, and he told me, as if, it was as if he was giving me a message that when you are praying for the one who has departed, you have to make sure and call the person's name. See, I always pray, for our sister who passed on. He said, no, you don't call her your sister. You have to say, what my pundit always said, you have to call your name. And I feel now, in retrospect, I feel he was trying to give me a message that when I am praying for him, I have to call his name. So that is one message I think he left with me, that when we are praying for the departed ones, we have to call their name. We cannot say that it was our brother or sister. We have to call the person's name. That is what he made sure and told me. He was a very charitable person too. And what can I say? The world has lost a great soul in Narine, and he was a good person, not just to us, but to his friends and family. He was a good father. He was a good husband. He was caring in his own way. He was not a person to boast about it and to say, well, I am this and I am that. But by his actions, he spoke a lot of how he felt about his family, both his wife, his children, and his sisters, and the second generation, of course. Well, I would like to hope that Lord Krishna bless him, bless that soul with a place where he would have shanti and buoyancy, where that soul will have shanti and buoyancy. In Sri Krishna's name, I beg that he attained some, at least a great level of moksha. Thank you.
Shri Krishna Govind Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govind Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Pitu Mat Swami Sakha Hamare, Pitu Mat Swami Sakha Hamare, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. Shri Krishna Govind Hare Murari, He Nath Narayan Vasudeva. ताकुर हमारे प्राणों से प्यारे, तुम हो हमारे, हम हैं तुम्हारे, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। गैया चरैया माखन चुरैया, तीनों की नैया के तुम ही केवैया, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। तुमसे है धरती, तुमसे है अंबर, अग्नि पवन और सातों समंदर, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्री कृष्ण गोविंद हरे मुरारी, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव, हे नाथ नारायण वासुदेव। गोविंद मेरो है, गोपाल मेरो है, गोविंद मेरो है, गोपाल मेरो है। श्री बाके बिहारी नंदलाल मेरो है, श्री बाके बिहारी नंदलाल मेरो है। गोविंद मेरो है, गोपाल मेरो है, गोविंद मेरो है, गोपाल मेरो है। श्री बाके बिहारी नंदलाल मेरो है, श्री बाके बिहारी नंदलाल मेरो है, श्री बाके बिहारी नंदलाल मेरो है।
वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। पवन पुत्र हनुमान स्वामी की जय। Brothers and sisters, our brother Brahmanand Mitra Maharaj was a great devotee of the Mahabir Swami. He used to always light his diya in the temple, and he used to come and attend our full moon katha when we used to worship Mahabir Swami. He used to chant his Hanuman Chalisa, and also our brother passed on Hanuman Jayanti last year. Truly a devotee of that Mahavir Swami. Let us hear from some shared sentiments from his near and dear ones, and one of his favorite bhajans, Guru Meri Puja. Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai.
Sitaraam, Mitra was our eldest brother, kind, loving, and caring. He was more like a father figure to all of us. He loved his parents, brothers, sisters, nieces, and nephews. He was a person to me with a big heart, and he gave selflessly. He was always willing to help his siblings even till the end. And he always made sure, he always made sure Vijayanti had everything, even after Papi had passed. The way Mitra expresses his love with his siblings was with a hug and a kiss. If we had reached home while he was awake, it's a big hug and a kiss. Even when we are leaving, he would give us a hug and a kiss. We all can recall that. Every one of us. I'm sure Hemanan always will remember. Before he leaves for work, Mitra would give him a hug and a kiss and called him by his pet name, Shri. And he would say, be alert. He had a special bond to me towards Hemanan, being the youngest brother. He loved sharing like a cup of coffee or tea during the day if we are home, sitting and chatting and making a lot of jokes. He was that type of person. Even if he's talking with you and whatever the conversation is, it had to be some joke or something, and you had to laugh because he was the one who did that. I will always remember that. He loved really the tea and coffee. Apart from the jokes and all of that, Mitra loved singing a lot, especially the songs from the 70s with Kishore Kumar. He loved those songs, and I remember him singing all the time. He loved the movie star Dharmendra and Hema Malini and Rajesh Khanna, just to name a few. Apart from the songs, he enjoyed his bhajans as well, and always played the Hanuman Chalisa. He always took part, active role during Peter Pak, Sivatri and Diwali. And especially when Papi was getting down in age, Mitra took over the Pitru Pak and the Sivatri, where we had to wait until 12. He did a very good job at that. I cannot leave out Duresh because they grew up together and they had a special bond as well because Mitra was just 2 years older than him. And, Mitra would go all out to help him out, especially last couple of years before Duresh passed. I will always remember the songs he sang, but still I wouldn't be able to hear it because it brings back really strong memories, which is so sad. I will always remember his call telling me the pain that he was feeling. And that was the last day that I heard his voice. He went away so suddenly, no time to tell us goodbye. But brothers can't be parted because they leave precious memories that never die. He will be remembered throughout our lives. Our thoughts and prayers will always be with you. As a brother, you are irreplaceable. Om Sargati.
Sitaraam, whenever I think of Mitra or Shainam as we called each other, I see his welcoming smile. He was a humble person and a loving cousin with such a good heart who was always ready to help others. He was also an example of an ideal big brother. My dear cuz, I miss you so much. May Lord Krishna keep you in his abode.
Jai Sri Krishna. Pranam Pandit Brahmanand and Under Pandits. Sitaraam to Madhuri, Sridevi, Gayatri, Vijanti, and Hemanand. Let me commend you guys for organizing this satsang on behalf of your brother, on behalf of his soul. And Sitaraam also to all the uncles and aunts, cousins, nephews, nieces, other relatives and friends, and of course my siblings. Thanks for this opportunity. Growing up, Mitra and I did not have that opportunity of liming much. And I being older, we did not go to school together like the others in Sambuco. But we had a close and happy relationship. It's coincidental too that last week we celebrated Mahashivatri because it reminded me of Mitra, when all our Santa Cruz family and others would come to worship from evening to midnight at the mandir where Shatan Kaka and Jai Kahi lived. All the boy cousins would rush to get hold of a puja bell or ganta or sank. Mitra normally have the smaller white sank and I the brownish one. And ever so often on blowing it, the sound would not be perfect, which would cause some amusement among us. Mitra used to call me Shainam. I never found out why and what it meant. But anyways, he was a quiet, always jovial person and he had that shy smile. Mitra was also be remembered as a very kind and helpful person. In this regard, when I opened my business in Mahaval, he helped me for some time. So my prayers that Panditji's invocations and mantras and all our thoughts will be down to the smooth journey to attaining moksha for this noble soul. Om Sadgati. Thank you.
Guru meri puja, Guru Govinda, Guru mera par Brahma, Guru Bhagavanta, Guru meri puja, Guru Govinda, Guru mera par Brahma, Guru Bhagavanta. Guru mera deva, lakha bheva, Guru mera deva, lakha bheva, sarva pooje charan guru seva, sarva pooje charan guru seva. Guru meri puja, Guru Govinda, Guru mera par Brahma, Guru Bhagavanta, Guru meri puja, Guru Govinda, Guru mera par Brahma, Guru Bhagavanta. Guru bina vara nahi main thao, Guru bina vara nahi main thao, an din japo Guru Guru naam, मेरी पूजा गुरु गोविंद गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्मा गुरु भगवंता गुरु मेरी पूजा गुरु गोविंद गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्मा गुरु भगवंता गुरु मेरा ज्ञान गुरु हृदय ध्यान गुरु मेरा ज्ञान गुरु हृदय ध्यान गुरु गोपाला पुरख भगवाना गुरु गोपाला पुरख भगवाना गुरु मेरी पूजा गुरु गोविंद गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्मा गुरु भगवंता गुरु मेरी पूजा गुरु गोविंद गुरु मेरा पार ब्रह्मा गुरु भगवंता
सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय। पवन पुत्र हनुमान स्वामी की जय। श्री गुरु महाराज की जय। Brothers and sisters, our katha this evening reference is made to Sri Ramcharitamanas, Vinay Patrika, Gitavali, Bhavishya Puran, Pratisagar Parva, Valmiki Ramayana, Padma Puran, Pret Kand, Uttar Ramayana. Before beginning, Pyare, let us clasp our hands as we chant a few praises to Mahabir Swami from Sundarkand. Hari Om Shantam Shashwatam Prameyamanagam Nirvan Shanti Pradam Brahma Shambho Panendra Sevya Manisham Vedanta Vedyam Vibhyam Ramakhyam Jagadishwaram Suragurum Maya Manushyam Harim Vandeham Karunakaram Raghuvaram Bhopal Chodamanim Nanyas Prihar Gupade Hriday Smadhye Satyam Vadami Cha Bhavanna Kilantaratma Bhaktim Prayacha Raghupungava Nirbharame Kamadi Dosh Rahitam Kurumana Samcha Atulata Baladhamam Swarana Shaila Badeham Danujaban Krishanam Gyaninam Agraganyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Vanaranam Adhisham Raghupati Priya Bhaktam Vatajatam Namah Om Hang Hanumate Namah Sitaramaye Namah Shri Radha Krishnaya Govindaye Namah Om Namah Shivaya Namah Om Namo Mata Pitaya Namah Shri Guru Charana Kamalebhyo Om Namo Paramatmane Namah Umapati Mahadeva ki Jai. Brothers and sisters, Narad Muni in Bhagavad Puran comes and he sees Raja Barhis. He's performing yajna after yajna over and over. As soon as one yajna finishes, he starts on the edge. Like this, he's going on and on. And Narad Muni is concerned for this king. So he decides to come and to enlighten this king. So he comes and he tells him a wonderful parable or a tale to give him enlightenment, to bring it as simple as possible to him about this lifetime. So Narad Muni came and enlightened the king by telling him that Katha, which relates to Puranjana, the city of 9 gates, and Bhogavati, and the 365 days, the nights, and so on. And he explained to him about the body, the city of 9 gates, explaining to him that he had a friend before he came and occupied this physical body of the city of 9 gates, trying to enlighten him, to let him know that your one true friend in this world was there with you before you entered this realm in this physical body, so that you, the individual, is not this physical. You are beyond this. We would have heard many times in Katha that before we came here with that companion that we had, when those cells came together in our mother's womb, and after that quickening happens and we occupy this body, everything is an accumulation thereafter. So we are that entity that comes and start accumulating. So throughout our life, we accumulate that body of a fetus, body of a babe. We come out into this world, we grow old, and all the accumulations that we have to be given up. When we're leaving this realm, no accumulations would go with us. The only thing that you would have accumulated is our karmas and the love and devotion that we have for the Supreme. But what happens? We come here, we are supreme, but we end up forgetting who we are. So we need to be reminded of same. Just as Mahabir Swami in Kiskinda Khan of Sri Ramcharitmanas, Jamwant is telling Mahabir Swami, Pavana Tanaya Bala Pavana Samana Buddhi Viveka Vijnana Nidhana, reminding Hanuman of his greatness. Just as we have forgotten how great we truly are, and we get lost in this world. Mahabir Swami would have come from that Putreshri Yag that was performed from Raja Dasharath. And when that kite came and took a portion of that and brought it to Anjana, and when she partook of that through the auspicious of Pawandev, bring it to her, she, who was married to Kesari, That is how Mahavir Swami came into this world. That ans of Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu. Mahavir Swami, his mother tells him that he can partake of fruits as ripe as the sun. And going towards the sun, eventually when Indra strikes him on his jaw, his Hanu, and he is falling, Pawandev takes him to Patal Lok. When the entire world is suffering and cannot breathe, when all the celestial comes and blesses him with all those powers, Ashta Siddhi Now Nidhi, Mahavir Swami, having all these powers, eventually he used to do one or two little nutcut stuff now, a little nutcut, he doing little naughty things. And on one occasion, he comes and a lion and an elephant was fighting, and he came and he tied them on the sides of the ashram of sage Tirunbindu. And that sage, when he saw the lion and that elephant, he got frightened. And he cursed Mahavir Swami that he would lose his powers. Mahavir Swami comes and begs forgiveness of that sage. And he tells him that when he goes on the quest of Bhagwan Sri Ram, and one of the people in his gathering tells him and reminds him of his powers, as Jamwan does, and he tells him, Pavanatane Bala Pavana Samana, Buddhi Viveka Vijnana Nidhana, you are the O Hanuman, you are the storehouse of intelligence, you are the storehouse of Viveka, distinguishing that which is good and that which is negative. Bal, the embodiment of strength. Bal Buddhi Viveka, Vijnan, the storehouse of superior knowledge. He reminds Mahavir Swami of how great he is. So we need to remind ourselves, Paddy, that we also are the spark of divinity. And we were with that friend before we entered this realm. All that we are, all the accumulations, we're going to leave it behind. We're all subject to Mala, Vikshep, and Avarana. Mala, impurity. The impurities we are subject to is like hate, Kama, Krodha, Moha, Lobha, Mada, Madasarya. The permutations and combinations of these. One such combination is fear and doubt. And why do we fear? Why do we doubt? Because we are so attached to the things that we have accumulated. So we're so attached to this body. So when it is time to relinquish it, that is why we are so fearful of death. We're afraid to give up what we have accumulated. Because we are so attached. Why is it you would have, someone dies and people are saying, the spirit is still here haunting this place and so on? Only because of the attachment that individual had for that surroundings and so on. And only when peace and someone enlightens them that there is someplace better than here, it is only then that spirit or ghost, as you would call it, be relinquished and leave. that spirit of Mitra and our brother Narine Siew is everlasting. I would share with you, you know, my dad, when the day before he died, we went and chat with him in the hospital. And he told me, Advan, I will see you in the morning. My dad told me that. In the morning, when we were going to the hospital, we were told that my dad passed. Some days after, my neighbor told me that my dad came up the step in the morning and she saw him and she told him Sitaraam, and he told her Sitaraam. This is after my dad passed on, right? So he comes and he came to visit me. Again, over a year after, I have about 4 houses down from me on the street. There's one of my dad's friends lives there. His name is Arthur. Arthur is a Christian, you know. So on one occasion, Arthur comes by my gate and he tells me, you know, I want to tell you something. I don't know if you remember, some months ago, I was digging the drain at your dad's home. And while digging that drain there, I was having a conversation with your dad for a long while. So we were talking, and just as I having this conversation with you. And afterwards, after having the conversation for a while, I realized that, you know, but he passed on a while now. So I dropped all the tools and I left. But I just wanted to let you know that why I had left and gone, just leave and gone, is because I was talking to him just as I am speaking to you here. What I'm emphasizing to you, Pyare, is that entity, Bhagwan Krishna tells you, it cannot be wetted, it cannot be dried. You know, all these things we hear in Bhagavad Gita. This is just an accumulation. We come here for a period, and every one of us will have to leave all these accumulations behind. Make no mistake, nobody carries any of it. But what we carry? The actions that we perform, the karma that we perform. Man, krama, vachan, thought, word and deed. Very often we think karma is physical, but karma is also mental. More of our lives is spent on what? In a mental state, not so? Even while we're in this doing physical things, mentally we are doing something also, not so? Our mind. When we go to sleep and the physical is not moving, mental is there also. And this is why all our scriptures emphasize that we need to purify the mind. If we don't purify the mind, we'd live a miserable life. Just imagine you cannot even sleep comfortably in the night. Why? If you do not have compassion, if you do not have forgiveness, if you do not practice kindness, if you do not practice the yamas and niyamas, it won't fix your mind, Daddy. And these are the prominent qualities of these two noble souls. You would have heard from their near and dear ones the qualities that they possessed. Loving, kind, compassionate. These are the qualities we need to emulate, just like Mahavir Swami. श्री गणेश भगवान की जय। प्यारे महावीर स्वामी, being that child, before his powers were taken away and so on, he made sure and he went and learned for 2.5 days. He went to Suryadev and he learned the Vedas, all our scriptures and so on. He learned it in 2.5 days, in 60 hours. While traversing the chariot of Suryadev is going forward and he is going backwards and he is learning all this. Suryadev being pleased with him tells Mahavir Swami that because he was such a good student, there's no need to pay any dakshina. But Mahavir Swami, Hanuman insists. So then he told him to go and be the minister to his son Sugriv, who is staying in the kingdom with Bali. So Mahavir Swami is close with Sugriv, and as we would recall from Katha, the difference of opinion between Bali and Sugriv, and Bhagwan Sri Ram coming to the aid of Sugriv and having destroyed Bali, Mahavir Swami then becomes close to Bhagwan Sri Ram. We all have heard Katha, so we all know what transpired, Mahavir Swami and so on. Mahavir Swami, just like every one of us, are subjected to the energies that is given off by the planets. Our karmas that we have accumulated must be paid off for. So we are born on a specific date and time, and with that the planets would dispense the fruits of our karmas. So Shani Dev would affect Sade Sati of Shani, would affect everyone, even Mahavir Swami, Hanuman. So when Hanuman was building that bridge, this is when that Sade Sati would affect him, and Mahavir Swami is asking Shanidev to postpone it so that he would be able to finish the bridge and help Bhagwan Sri Ram. But Shanidev says that he has to dispense whenever the time is for someone. He cannot change that. So Mahavir Swami asks that, well, if he has to be there, then he wants him to be on his head. So Shanidev goes on the head of Mahavir Swami. So Mahavir Swami loads up with big boulders on his head so that he would help in building that bridge. So when 7.5 days passed, Shanidev couldn't take all that heavy boulders on him. So he told Mahavir Swami that he would equate that 7.5 days to the 7.5 years for him. And further to that, anyone who prays to Mahavir Swami would, the ill effects of Shani Sade Sati would be lessened. Apart from that, Mahavir Swami freed the planets when they were under the control of Ravan. So this is why you would know that when Baba tells you, you know, you have Shani Sade Sati, or you have whatever Mahadasa and so on, he would also recommend to you to perform worship to Mahavir Swami, Hanuman. So Hanuman relieves us of these things that we would have accumulated in previous lifetimes. Mahavir Swami assisted Bhagwan Sri Ram in that war, and after they have succeeded in their mission and returned to Ayodhya, Bhagwan Sri Ram had performed Ashwamedh Yajnas. And in one of those Ashwamedh Yajnas, Mahabir Swami, together with Satruhan and the entire army with Prahast, Bharat's son and so on, they were going with the horse. And whichever king or whoever stops that horse, they would have to do battle. So the sons of Devi Sita, Love and Kush, they had battle with them and they captured Mahabir Swami. And Devi Sita came and told them to free Mahabir Swami. But Mahabir Swami, in doing all these things, like I told you from in the beginning of the Katha, it is through Mahabir Swami that he brought Devi Sita and Love and Kush to Bhagwan Sri Ram. Although Devi Sita gave up her body to Dhartima, but it is Mahabir Swami who brings you to Bhagwan Sri Ram. Again, in another Ashwamedh Yajna that Bhagwan Sri Ram was performing, when Satruhan and all of them went to fight, a devotee of Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu, that king had prayed to Bhagwan for a long time, and Shiva Shambhu had told him that he would be there to protect him. So he held that horse. And Mahabir Swami, together with Satruhan and so on, were fighting against Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu. But remember, Pyare, that Shiva Shambhu and all of these things is the Leela of Bhagwan. So Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu is fighting with Satruhan and so on. And Satruhan loses consciousness and so on. And just like Lakshman, when he had lost consciousness through when he fought with Indrajit, and Mahabir Swami had brought herbs and so on to revive him, in like manner Satruhan was unconscious on the battlefield. Mahabir Swami fought with Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu, and eventually Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu tells him, fighting for this lengthy period and so on, Mahabir Swami calls on Bhagwan Sri Ram, and Bhagwan Sri Ram appears there. So this Leela of Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu was just to bring Sri Ram there, again emphasizing to us that is true. Mahabir Swami, who is an aunt of Lord Shiva, he would bring that Supreme Lord and Master to you. So Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu had that opportunity to see Bhagwan Sri Ram. And Bhagwan Sri Ram and Lord Shiva, knowing this Leela that is being played out, Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu tells Hanuman that he go to Dronagiri and he will get the herbs there. When he's coming with that Dronagiri with his tail wrapped around it, he does battle with the Devas and so on, and he revives Satruhan and Prahast and all those who fell in battle there. But my point to you, Pyare, is that when you pray to Mahabir Swami, he would bring you closer to the supreme consciousness that pervades the entire cosmos. Pawana Putra Hanuman Swami ki Jai, Sita Pati Ramachandra ki Jai. Brothers and sisters, it is always a pleasure to be in such noble and pious company. Truly, these noble souls have emulated some of the qualities of Mahabir Swami, as we ought to do the same. Everything that we have acquired, Pyare, the things that we are fighting over, we have to leave all here. The only true wealth, the true Paras money is the Supreme Lord and Master. Having love and devotion to that Supreme. And this can only come just as Mahavir Swami teaches us. Mahavir Swami has surrendered to that Supreme Lord and Master. Mahavir Swami's entire life is given to him. When Bhagwan Sri Ram had come to Ayodhya, and Mahavir Swami only wanted to do anything that Bhagwan Sri Ram needs, Mahavir Swami is there to do service for him. Devi Sita, Satrughan, Lakshman, Bharat, Lakshman, Satrughan and Devi Sita. They are saying that Mahavir Swami wants to do all the seva for Bhagwan Sri Ram. He wants to massage his foot, everything, all the seva he wants to do. So they decided, we will draw up a rasa and we'll put it so that we would benefit from it. So this rasta that they draw up, so from this time to this time, Satrughan will massage Bhagwan's foot. From this time to this time, like this, they drop this rasta and they posted the rasta for Bhagwan Sri Ram to acknowledge. When Sri Ram looks at the list, he doesn't see Mahavir Swami Hanuman's name on it. So he smiles and he stamps that proclamation. So the proclamation is posted and then everyone is given their duty. So Mahavir Swami comes and he reads and he's watching, he's seeing his name is not there to perform any service to Bhagwan. So remember, Mahavir Swami is very intelligent. So Mahavir Swami thinks and then he says, okay, well, the one duty, the one seva that Ali did do, I will do that. So they're thinking now and they're saying, but we put down everything here, do have nothing else. What other seva it have? So Mahavir Swami is saying that whenever someone yawns, is a good practice to do a chutki, snap your fingers, so that the life would be short. So he said, I will do that duty. So every time Bhagwan is going to yawn, I will snap my fingers. Say Jai Shri Ram. So they say, alright. So now Mahavir Swami, you do not know when you're going to yawn. You can yawn at any point in time. Not so? So Mahavir Swami is there all the time in Bhagwan Shri Ram waiting. Jai Shri Ram. When he yawns, right? So now, all that they tried to keep Mahavir Swami away from Bhagwan Shri Ram, now he's there with him all the time. So Devi Sita tells him now that it is night time now, so I am going to be with my husband, you cannot be here. So she tells me I have to go out. So he goes out onto the veranda, the balcony, and he's there and he's saying, but I won't be able to know when Bhagwan Sri Ram yawns. So he said, well, he will have to make sure that Bhagwan Sri Ram is okay. So he started Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram. So make sure that when Bhagwan Sri Ram yawns, he would have done that for Bhagwan Sri Ram. So now that he's doing this, Jai Ram, Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram, each time he does it, Bhagwan Sri Ram yawns, Jai Ram, and Bhagwan Sri Ram is yawning all the time. So he's saying it all the time, so Bhagwan Sri Ram's jaw becomes locked in the open position. So many times he's saying that. So they call for the doctors, nobody knows what to do. Eventually, Sage Vashisht comes and he realizes what's going on. So he tells Mahavir Swami to stop. And then Bhagwan Sri Ram could have closed his mouth. So they all bowed to Bhagwan. Mahabir Swami and Sri Ram is smiling and saying, you cannot keep away Mahabir Swami from me. It's just like fire. Fire and its ability to burn is one. There's no separation. Once you pray to Bhagwan Sri Ram, you are praying to Mahabir Swami. If you're praying to Hanuman, you are praying to Sri Ram. This is why Bhagwan Sri Ram at the beginning of our Katha tells us, Aur ek kuput mat sabhi kahu kar jori, Shankar bhajan binanar bhakti na pavai mori. You need to always remember that Supreme Lord and Master. There is no difference between Bhagwan Shiva Shambhu and Bhagwan Sri Ram. Pavana Putra Hanuman Swami ki Jai. Brothers and sisters, truly a pleasure to be in your company. Let us clasp our hands and bow our heads in humble supplication as we seek guidance and blessings for all those noble and pious souls that were close to our heart over those past 3 to 5 years who have left physical. But we know they are still existing and continuing on their journey towards enlightenment. Let us clasp our hands and bow our heads in humble supplication. Hari Om Namastu Anandaya Sahasramurte Sahasrapadakshi Sharur Udbhave Sahasraname Purushaya Sahasrakoti Yugadharinam Om Avahanam Najanami Najanami Visarjanam Pujam Jaiva Najanami Khasamyatam Purushottamam Mantrahinam Kriyahinam Bhaktihinam Janadhana Yat Pujitam Maya Deva Paripuranam Tadastami Om Anadhinatanu Deva Shankha Chakra Gadadhar Akshay Pundarikaksha Atma Moksha Pradho Bhava Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama Shri Krishna Sharanam Mama. He Prabhu, Sarva Shaktiman Sachidanand Nirakar Nirvikar Sarvadhar Sadveshwar Sarvyapak Antaryami Ajar Amar Nitya Pravitya Shrishtikata Puk Barambar Namaskar. He Paramatma भविष्य वर्तमान दोषकार कष्ट न करते शुभ ही प्रकाश करो कि जिसके सबका मंगल होए। ओम ध्याओ शांति अंतरिक्ष कुम शांति पृथ्वी शांति आप शांति औषधे शांति वनस्पति शांति विश्वदेव देवाय शांति ब्रह्मा शांति सर्वगुम शांति शांति रेवा शांति सामा शांति रेडी। ओम शांति शांति शांति। त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव। ओम शांति शांति शांति। उमापति महादेव की जय। पवन पुत्र हनुमान स्वामी की जय। सीतापति रामचंद्र की जय। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। बोले सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। My brothers and sisters, may Bhagwan continue to bless each and every one of you. May you be blessed to continue to be in satsang. We will meet and greet soon. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai.
श्री राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय जय राम। पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप, राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरपूर। श्याम रामचंद्र की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की